I grow up, I want to be the first person to teleport himself.
Even if you could build it.
I've already built it.
Is it next to your flying car?
I'm not working on that anymore.
Meet the Fantastic Four. They're transported to an alternate universe, which gives them superpowers, but also changes them physically. They use their powers to battle Dr. Doom, who is bent on ruling the Earth. And your movie friend Aaron Dicer's here.
Yeah, this is a big deal for Sony, who's doing this, or Fox, I think, who's doing this, because they have this Fantastic Four property and they want to reboot it.
Right.
You mentioned it was a Marvel movie. Well, only in the sense that the characters are from the Marvel comic books.
Okay.
It's actually not done by the Marvel people. So, and because of that, there's all this question about it. It falls completely flat.
Oh no.
And a lot of that has to do with the, you've seen Ant-Man recently, or even non-comic book movies like Mission Impossible, and they all have this life and this spark to them. There is none of that here. It feels very drab, it feels very boring, and if there's one thing a superhero movie can't be, it's boring.
Right, it's superheroes.
You're going to have fun and see these superpowers, but this one definitely was a little bit under the weather in that way.
Can you take your kids? Is it a kids movie? Will they enjoy it?
No. I would definitely say it's not a kids movie. Maybe teenagers. It got a little more violent than I was expecting it to be. Really towards the end, there's some violence to the Dr. Doom character. I will say one thing I did like, if I have to pull, my best thing out of it or whatever, would be the performances. Miles Teller and Michael B. Jordan are great actors, and what's unfortunate is they're really kind of wasted here in that way. As far as the worst thing, it's just that it was so dry. There just wasn't much to it. It's like eating a piece of dry toast.
No one wants that.
No, you got to put butter on it or some sort of jam. This had no butter or jam. It was just very dry and hard to get through. Overall, I said it was about a C-.
So average. Nothing
yeah,
special.
Definitely worse than average. That's probably a generous grade.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, the superpowers in this, they didn't even use those well. Sue Storm, who has invisibility and force field powers, she was basically relegated to Glenda the Good Witch. She transported people around in her bubble. That's all she did. My car gets from point A to point B. That's not a superpower.
That's not a superpower.
No, exactly.
So not so great. We can
not
skip
one
that.
I would recommend, especially with all the other great stuff that's in the theater right now.
So we're going to move on to our next movie, which is The Gift, that tells the story of a couple who is haunted by a high school acquaintance. Eventually, the frightening details that are buried for 20 years come to light, and that changes everything. So this is supposed to be a horror movie.
Yeah, they're kind of promoting it as a horror film, but I would more say this is suspense, and I love that because it takes a story and it really puts you in the middle of it in the way that that Hitchcock kind of did. It's not quite that good, but they do a good job of really drawing that suspense out. In fact, I think the best thing about the movie is how you're always guessing, like who did what's happening, where's it going. That guesswork that happens there during the movie is probably the best thing about it. But as you watch this, you're definitely into it. Bateman's performance is really good in this. We've really only seen Jason Bateman kind of do the the quirky, charismatic comedy thing.
Yeah.
In this, he can't help but be charismatic. He just is. But he's also a really, really good actor, and it's toned down so much for kind of this storyline. I really, really enjoyed his performance in this. I thought it was really, really good, as are the performances around him as well. If there's one thing I didn't like that I would say maybe my worst thing about it, is that it does get a little bit slow at times. The momentum just isn't quite up to snuff. There are times you're like, okay, let's get this thing moving. But it's definitely purposeful because, again, they're drawing out that suspense. So I think they just do it if they could have tweaked it just a little bit more, it could have been a really, really good film. As it is, I still think it was good. There's a lot of depth to it. Overall, I gave it a B+.
So they're marketing it as the ending will just catch you by surprise. You'll never see it coming.
Can I just tell you, I hate that. There is a beautiful thing when a movie can throw a twist at you in the movie or at the end of the movie or whatever, and it changes the way you see the film. I hate that they market them that way, because you want to go into an experience and have a story told to you, rather than being like, oh, where's that ending coming? Where's that just that twist coming and all that kind of stuff. So I would rather go into a movie not knowing that they're going to try to twist and turn through it and just experience it than be looking for it in that way. And yes, the end of this movie is interesting and fun, and there's some fun's an interesting word to use, but they do some cool things with it. But it's not something I would go to the movie looking for. I would go to this movie looking for a deep and interesting story that is suspenseful and a little bit dark.
So that momentum was what it was.
Yes.
All right. Sounds good. Well, thanks so much, Aaron.
Yeah.
And when we return, Jeremy gets his schoolwork done and his hands dirty and our amazing first back-to-school gift. You won't want to miss that.